Welcome to online class. Hope you people are safe. This is Sheila, your computer science teacher. Today we are going to see chapter 9, Introduction to C++. Here your programming language starts. Yes, before that and all we had what? We had first part was all about what is computers, what is your internal systems there, how your computer works, all that we saw. And next, what did we see? How the algorithm is actually implemented, what is meant by iteration, what is meant by conditional statements, all that we saw. And now we are going to see how a program is actually done, how to write a program, how to make the day-to-day concepts also into a program. All that we are going to see now in this. Let us begin from this chapter and we will proceed further. Is that clear? So, generally, who developed C++? It was developed by Janne Stroustrup. Okay. And your C++ is also termed to be an extension of your C. Okay, it is an extension of your C. C++ is an extension of your C. So, C++ is one of the most popular programming language, and it supports both procedural language and object-oriented programming language. What is meant by object-oriented programming language? It supports encapsulation, polymorphism, data abstraction, etc. All these are the concepts that is actually available in your object-oriented programming. And this C++ is called as what? Hybrid language. How it is called as? It is called as hybrid language. And who developed it? Janne Stroustrup named his new language C as C++ as C with classes at first, and as he joined Rick Mussetti, what happened? They together named it as C++, because plus represents what? Represents increment operator. Now let us see the history of your C++. C++ was developed by Janne Stroustrup at which laboratory? AT&T Bell Laboratory. During which year? During the period of 1979. So where was it derived from? It was derived from C language, and it was influenced by many other languages also. What are the languages that is actually being influenced for your C++? Similar, BCPL, ADA, ML, CLU, ALGOL, 68. Till 1983 it was referred as New C and C with classes. In 1983 only the name was changed as C++ by Rick Mussetti. Now let us see the benefits of your C++. C++ is highly a portable language. Highly portable language and is often the language of choice for multiple device, multiple platform app development. What is meant by the term portable language? See, it can run on any platform. It is independent of platforms. It is not that it will run only in this OS, that OS. It is independent of platforms. It can run in any system. Yes. So what happened is, and it is also possible to run in multiple platform development, app development. C++ is an object-oriented programming language which includes classes, inheritance, polymorphism, data abstraction and encapsulation. What is class? See, class is just like an user-defined data type only. Right? So there can be, in a program, there can be several classes as well. And your classes will have member functions and member variables. All this you will see as we proceed. What about inheritance? Inheritance means, say for example, your parents will be inheriting the properties of your grandparents, their parents, yes, and you people will be inheriting the properties of your grandparents and your parents. Yes, that is inheritance. Some people will say, looking at the kid, they'll say, hey, he is like his grandfather. See, his nose is like his grandmother. All this they will say, right? What it is actually, they are inheriting the qualities, isn't it? That is inheritance. From there we get something and we will use it for us. And your grandparents will be termed as base class and we will be termed as derived class. What is polymorphism? Polymorphism is an ability to take more than one form. What it is ability to take more than one form? With one name I can be able to perform several operations. That is going to be termed as what? Polymorphism. What is data abstraction? What is data abstraction? See, a doctor will be concentrating on his major. Say for example, a person is getting an heart attack, he is being hospitalized. Where will the doctor's concentration will be? Will it be in the legs? Will it be on the bones? Will it be on his kidneys? Not at all. He is an heart surgeon. The person who has come for the came to the hospital, who is there in the ICU, is suffering from heart attack. It means he has heart problem, and the surgeon will be concentrating only on the heart, not the other organs. Yes, that is it. So concentrating on the specific thing that we need and leaving out the unwanted things is going to be termed as what? Data abstraction. Encapsulation. What is encapsulation? Encapsulation means bundling of all the informations together into one. Say for example, if I say a car, we simply say it is a car. We will label it as Audi car, BMW, Rolls Royce, isn't it? Jaguar. That is all. We never know what is inside it. We doesn't know what sort of engine is actually inside it. What is the speed limit of it? We doesn't speak all about it. Or when we say it's a car, that's it. So bundling of data together, all the informations like the brake systems, the speed, the color, what else? The brand, the engine, everything is together. Right? If we combine everything and we simply call it as car, that is encapsulation, bundling of all the informations together into one. Clear? Yes. Now let us move on to the next. C++ has rich function library. Of course, yes. What is meant by library? The data will be, the books will be already available there, and whatever books we need, we will be able to pick it up, isn't it? That's it. Here also, we will have math library, we will have stdio, we will have iostream, we have so many other libraries as well. You know why we use all those libraries? It is because, see, say for example, I'm just going to prepare a coffee or a tea. Yes, we have everything in bottles, isn't it? Sugar is there in the bottle, coffee powder is there in the bottle, and milk comes under in a packet or in a form of powders. Yes, so what happens? Using this we are able to use it. But do we know how this coffee powder is actually made, from where it is actually coming? We never bother about it, right? So what happens is, this coffee powder will be a library function where all the details of it, the grinding, the collecting of coffee beans is all a background process, and we doesn't know all that. Yes, all that we know is coffee powder. Next comes your sugar. We simply know that it is a sugar, whereas we doesn't know how many sugar canes are actually grained to get it, from where do we get it, and how it is actually processed. All that we don't know. It is a back-end process. Yes, the same way, all that will be in a form of library. So what happens? I can simply use a library function called sugar to prepare a coffee, isn't it? Then the milk, the same way. We doesn't know how the milk is actually processed, and we simply use it. Yes. So that is why we say C++ has a rich function library. Next, C++ allows exception handling, inheritance, function overloading, which is not possible in C. What is meant by exception handling? Exception means errors. So what happens is, if there is an error, we can throw that error and we can process it. And this is possible in C++ and it is not possible in C. Inheritance is deriving the properties of your base class to the derived class. I already told you, grandparents' properties are being inherited by the parents. Parents' properties are being inherited. Grandparents and parents' properties can also be inherited by the children. Yes, the grandchildren. So that is actually possible. That is what is termed as inheritance, and this concept is not available in C. And what about function overloading? What is function overloading? Say for example, for addition, let us write like this itself. Addition. If I simply say addition, what happens? 2 plus 3 is going to be 5. Yes? 2.1 plus 3.2 is going to be 2.1, 3.2. I think 5.3, isn't it? Yes. So now it is decimal addition. So what happens is, if I am going to specify the integer type before itself, what happens is, I can write one process and I can use it for two things, that is function overloading. All this we will see in detail, don't worry, okay. C++ is powerful, efficient and fast language. It finds a wide range of applications from the GUI applications to 3D graphics for games to real-time mathematical simulations. Where do we use it? For 3D graphics we use, for games, yes, and for real-time mathematical simulations we are using C++. Now let us see the character sets of C++. Character set is a set of characters which are used to write C++ program. A character set represents any alphabets, numbers or any other symbols. Children, you will be confused. What are we reading? Why are we reading all this? What is programming language? I don't know. You people may think like that. Hope you people would have read something in your 9th standard and 10th standard C and all, isn't it? Even if you haven't revised, don't worry. We will see that in the live classes also. Okay. See your character set. All this is just the basics for writing a program. Don't be scared. It is easy only. Okay. Once if you concentrate, it will be easy. Character set is a set of characters which are used to write C++ program. A character represents what? Alphabets, numbers or any other symbols. This any other symbol is going to be termed as a special character and it is mostly available in where? Available in the keyboard. C++ accepts following characters. What are they? Alphabets A to Z, small alphabets A to Z. And I have to tell you, C++ is also case sensitive. What is meant by the term case sensitive? Case sensitive means if I write int A which is small, int, okay, int A which is small, and if I do this, A is equal to, this is not possible because I have represented that with a small a, and using here as capital A is not possible because it is case sensitive. Case means uppercase, lowercase. They are sensitive. Okay. If I use lowercase, I have to use only lowercase further. So listen. So it accepts A to Z. Number 0 to 9. Yes. Special characters. All these characters are possible. White space, blank space, horizontal tab, carriage written, new line, feed form, all this is available. Other characters, process any 256 ASCII characters as data. Next comes your lexical unit, your tokens. C++ program statements are constructed by many different elements like commands, variables, constants and many more symbols, and these symbols are called as what? Operators and punctuators. These individual elements are collectively termed as what? Lexical units, lexical elements or tokens. The smallest individual unit in a program is going to be termed as what? Tokens. Yes, these elements, the commands that we give, everything is going to be what? Tokens. Yes, C++ has following tokens. What are they? Keywords, literals, punctuators, identifiers and operators. What and all they have? Keywords, literals, punctuators, identifiers and operators. So what is a keyword? Keyword is nothing but a reserved word. What is a keyword? Keyword is a reserved word. What is meant by the term reserved word? That word can be used only for that purpose and not for your own purpose. If I say int represents integer only. I cannot write int a. For instead of a, I cannot write int or float int, because int itself has some meaning and a value. So you cannot represent like that. And there are some essential elements to construct your C++ program. Most of the keywords are common for your C, C++ and Java. C++ is case sensitive. I already told you that your C++ program is case sensitive. I am going to represent in capital letters. Even when I write the code, it has to be only in capital letters. If I am going to represent something in lowercase, it has to be in lowercase only. Right? See, look here. These are the keywords that is already available. What are the keywords available? Have a look here. All this is going to be what? Keywords. ASM, auto, break, case, catch, character, class, constant, continue, default, so on, up till volatile, which and all. With revisions and additions, the recent list of keywords also includes what? Using, namespace, ban, static cast, constant cast, dynamic cast, true, false, all this are also going to be what? All this is also going to be keywords. Identifiers containing double score are reserved for use by C++ implementations and so what is an identifier? Identifiers are user-defined names given to different parts of C++ program. How do we define what is an identifier? They are user-defined names. The names that we are going to give is going to be termed as what? Identifiers. Already we saw what the computer has the names. Yes, the program already has certain names and they are termed as keywords. And if I am going to give a name, that name is going to be termed as what? Identifier. And where all we can give names? Variables, functions, arrays, classes, etc. These are the fundamental building blocks of a program. Every language has specific rules for naming an identifier. Let us see the rules for naming an identifier. The first character of an identifier must be an alphabet or an underscore. So what is the first character of an identifier? It can be an alphabet or it can be an underscore. Only alphabets, digits, underscores are permitted. Other special characters are not allowed as a part of identifier. C++ is going to be case sensitive as it treats uppercase and lowercase differently. Reserved words or keywords cannot be used as identifier names. Clear, children? As per ANSI standard, C++ has no limit on its length and therefore all characters are significant. Significant means important. Yes, now they have given C, num can be valid and capital num is also valid. I already told you, you cannot if I mix and use also I have to use the same mix term everywhere. Underscore add is also valid. Total underscore add is also valid. Total mark valid. Num hyphen is actually a special character and it is not allowed, so it is invalid. This is a keyword and it cannot be used, so it is invalid. To my numbers, the numbers cannot start, right? Name must begin with alphabets or underscore. It cannot start with a number, so it is invalid. You may use an underscore in variable names to separate different parts of the examples. Examples table underscore sales is a valid identifier, whereas variables called total space sales is an invalid identifier. Are you able to follow? Here we use underscore, it is actually valid. If I am going to leave space here between total and space, sales, it is going to be invalid because space is not allowed in your, allowed in what? Allowed in your identifiers. You may use capital style notation such as Tamil mark, that is capitalizing the first letter of the second letter. We can use like this also. Okay. Now let us, we saw literal variables. Now let us see literal constants. Literals are data items whose values do not change during the execution of a program. Yes, therefore literals are called as constants. If the constant is not going to change, the value is not going to change even during the execution of the program, then it is called as constant. Constant means does not change. C++ has several kinds of literals. Literal constants, numerical constants, integer constants, real constants, boolean constants, string constants. Yes, numeric constants you people will know. What is integer constant? Numbers without any decimals. Yes, real constants is we used to write with floating values. Yes, boolean true or false. Character constants is labeling it with alphabets. String is characters together is termed as what? String. Numeric constants. Integer constants are fixed point constants. Real constants are floating point constants. I already told you, right? So integer constants are whole numbers without any fractions. An integer constant must have what? At least one digit with a decimal point. Without a decimal point, your integer will not have any decimal point. It can be signed or unsigned. What is positive or negative numbers? Signed integers are considered as negative. Negative commas and blank spaces are not allowed. See, signed integers are considered as negative numbers. Commas, blank spaces are not allowed as a part of it. In C++, there are three types of integer constants. One is going to be decimal, the other one is going to be octal, and the last one is going to be hexadecimal. What is meant by decimal constant? See, in your decimal constant, any sequence of one or more digits, 0 to 9, 725, comma is not allowed, right? 725 is valid. Minus 27 is valid. 4.76 is actually valid. 7,500, comma, separated by a comma is not valid. 65 space, blank space is not allowed. Dollar, special characters are not allowed. What about octal numbers? Octal numbers must start from 0 and end up to 7. 0 to 7 is actually represented as an octal constant. Have a look here. 0, 1, 2, it is actually valid. Minus 0, 2, 7 is actually valid. Plus 0, 2, 3, 1 is also valid. Which is not valid? 0, 5, comma. Comma is not valid. Decimal points are not valid. Comma is not valid. Decimal points are not valid. And 8. Octal number starts from 0 to 7. 8 is not permissible in your octal system. Hexadecimal 0 to 9. After 9 you have to say 10. 10 as A. 11 as B. 12 as C. 13 as D. 14 as E. 15 as F. Goes on. Okay. So 0 to 9, A to F. Since it is 16 digits, we stop it with F. That starts with 0x or 0 capital X. Capital 0x. Yes, capital X. It is considered as an hexadecimal constant. 0x 123, 0x 568. This are all valid. Separated by a comma here. See, this is not valid. As well, decimal points like this is also not valid. The suffix L or 1, L or L, capital U or U added with any constant forces, it can be represented as a long or unsigned constant. If I use U, it means it is unsigned constant. If I use capital L, it is long variables. Yes, long constants. What about real constants or floating point constants? It is nothing but having fractional components. A numeric constant having fractional component. These constants may be written in fractional form or in an exponential form. Fractional form of real constant is a signed or unsigned sequence of digits including decimal points between the digits. It may have at least one digit before and after a decimal point. It may have prefix with plus or minus sign. A real constant without any sign will be considered as positive. See, your exponent form of real constant is of two types. One is going to be mantissa exponent. First one is mantissa, the other one is exponent. Yes. The mantissa must be either an integer or a real constant. Mantissa followed by a letter E or small e. The mantissa is followed by a letter E or small e, and the exponent should also be an integer. Yes. See how they are writing 5 followed by how many zeros? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 zeros before a decimal value, right? 0, 0. Maybe represented as what? So how many zeros here? Count. Here altogether you had 6 zeros and here you had 2 zeros. So how can I represent it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I can represent this as 0.58 into 10 to the power of 8. Or I can represent that as 0.58 E8. Yes, 0.58 E8. What is this 8 actually? 10 power 8. How many zeros are there? That we will represent like this. Fine. Mantissa. Before E it is going to be mantissa and after E it is going to be exponent. This is mantissa and this is exponent. So 5.864 E1 10 power can be represented as E1 can be represented as 10 power 1 into 5.864, which is actually represented as 58.64. Clear? So 58.64 can be represented as 5864 into 10 to the power of minus 2. It is actually represented as E power E minus 2. 5864. How can I represent this? In another way. If I have to make it positive, I will be adding 0.5864, which will become a positive value. Clear? See here, we had it as a negative value, the same value. Here I made it as a positive value by making it into 0.58. What about Boolean literals? If I am going to represent something with true or false, it is going to be Boolean. Yes, we represent true value as 1 and false value with 0. What about character constants? A character constant in C++ is a valid single character enclosed with single quote. Just have a look here. Your A, $2, all this is being represented with a single quote. It is actually character constant. If I am going to represent something with a double quote, it is invalid. The value of the single character constant has an equivalent ASCII value. What is ASCII? American Standard Code for Information Interchange. Each and every variable in your keyboard will have certain values. Yes, if I press A, it will be represented with ASCII values only. Your system will not understand your alphabets, whereas it understands your ASCII values, your binary values. Yes, for example, the value of A is going to be 65. Escape sequence are non-graphic characters. They are 65 is going to be an escape sequence or non-graphic characters. C++ also allows certain non-printable characters represented by character constants. Non-printable characters are also called as non-graphic characters. Non-printable characters are those characters that cannot be typed directly from a keyboard during the execution of a program in C++. For those, for example, backspace, tab, etc., those non-printable characters can be represented by using escape sequence. An escape sequence is represented by a backslash followed by 1 or 2 characters. They will not be printed. Fine. So, slash A represents an alert bell, slash B represents backspace, slash N for a new line, slash T for an horizontal tab. These will not be represented, but the action will be implemented. Yes, even though an escape sequence contains 2 characters, this should be enclosed with a single quote because C++ considers escape sequence as character constants and allocates 1/10 ASCII representation. Thank you, children. With this, let us stop. Let us proceed with the rest in the next class. Thank you.